This is card number 1 for the April 22 Change is Beautiful paper pumpkin kit. This kit comes with these fun fold cards, and I'm going to show you my alternate ideas to do for these. Here is the first card that I came up with, and it's going to use this black grayish card, and we're just going to cut this bud out of it, and so you're going to use parts of the rest of the card, so just be careful when you cut the bud out not to go too crazy and whack off too much. So just try and cut as close to this as you can to leave this space over here. And I'm going to set this over here. I'm going to cut that out right now. No, I'll do that after. So we've got a Bermuda Bay base at 8.5 by 5.5. You can score it or just fold it in half so that it's 4 1/4. And we are going to go, I'm going to call it landscape mode. With this card, we'll go, it will open up. I've used an envelope, and these envelopes are all the way through, both the top and the bottom. Sometimes this flap is not, sometimes that flap is not colored, I'll call it decorated. We're just going to trim the sides off. Just a smidge, enough to get it to open up, and then from there you can assess what you got going on. So we need a panel for the front at 4 by 5 1/4. So I will use this center piece here because it's the largest. And I'm just going to cut at that score line for the envelope. I'm going to cut just shy to the left of that mark, and then we need it to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. You can decide if you want to cut more of the blue off or more of the green off. I'm going to cut a little more of the green off, and then save these pieces. We will use them again down the road. We're going to glue this onto the front. Oh, looks like I need a new blade in that. And that's a good tip when you start to see the fraying. Your blade probably needs to be changed. It's not giving you a clean cut. And I do have more of those. We do sell the blades for this cutter. If you still have the old cutter, those are no longer available. I do have some. If you have the old cutter and you need some, you can give me a shout. That looks pretty good. Okay. Then I just cut, you can go ahead and cut just out of basic white. This piece is roughly 4 1/4 inches by 3. I did use one of the stitched rectangle dies, but you don't need to. You could just cut it if you don't have the dies, and then I embossed it with a flowered folder that I have, but I'm going to say you don't have to emboss. It's going to add a lot of neat texture, so emboss it with something that you have, and then just glue that straight on. If you don't have anything, then of course you can't add it, but I think it just adds a little extra depth to it if you can put something down there. So I'm just going to try and center that. Actually, I'm going to go up a little bit higher, I think, and then we're going to glue that down. Then the card, we're going to cut out a piece from this panel. And again, I use the Stitch Rectangles dies, but you don't have to. You can cut it at 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I ran that through my cut and emboss machine. We're going to tape that down flat or glue it down with your green glue, which might be a good idea on this piece because you're putting it onto the embossed white piece and it's got different heights to it. So the green glue will help you to get the glue down in the cracks and crevices of the embossing folder. So we're going to glue that down with just a little smidge hanging off on the left. I'll glue that in place. Let me hold it down for a second so it stays where I want it. Get that glue smushed down around in there like so. Then I taped 2 of my rectangles dies together, and then that's how you make like this frame over here. This one will cut the outside, and then this piece will cut the hole through the inside and gives you this frame. And then this piece that is in the center, you can pop that out and use that somewhere if you want as well, but we're not using it here. I'm going to put some dimensional on the back of my frame. I'm going to cut these up. And I'm just going to put them, I want to put them on the corner, and I want one for support in the middle. Oh, that might be kind of wide. So put them on the corners. And one in the middle. This kit was interesting, the fun fold cards that it came with. So change is beautiful. So if it's about like on this one, this was the part that I cut out there. That was just a little seedling. Then you had the bud, and then you have the whole flower. And then the same goes with the other card. It's like the worm, the cocoon, and then the butterfly. So it's you know, changing. That's kind of what this kit is trying to show you, the changing of evolution of the different, like the butterfly and the flower. And then I'm just going to put that in the center. And then I'm going to cut this out. So as I said, try and cut as close as you can to the bud, because I've used this piece here with this fold on the next card that I made. So cut out your bud, put some dimensionals on the back, and then just place that over the top of that little frame that we just put on. And then the dimensional on this leaf, you'll want to make sure it's down toward the bottom, because you want it to stick onto the white. Just otherwise it'll stick up on the frame and it'll be up too high. So this just keeps everything at the same level. Then I have some of this lemon lime twist ribbon. It was an old ribbon, but I thought it looked cool with it. And if you got it, you might as well use it up. So I just tied a bow. And you can use some tear tape. You can use a dimensional. I'll show you. I'm going to put a dimensional on there, but I'm going to put it in this down area here where on the other side of the knot. and that should hold it more at the same height as the rest. And then if you want, you can, you know, fiddle with your ribbon and tighten it or loosen it or do whatever you want with the ribbon. I got it a little bit long on the one side. We'll trim that down just a smidge. So now I have this rectangle that we're going to stamp on. I used one of the small rectangles from the die set, but I'm going to come through with this straight piece, and I'm going to run it through my machine again and cut it down and make it smaller to fit just my words. It was too big for me. And you can do it like that, or you can also just take a different die and do the same thing. You can just run it through like this, and it's only going to cut where this one piece is here. So you could do it either way. Actually, I don't want to use this piece because this is little dots and this is the dashes. So I'm going to run it through again using the dashes. Be right back. So this is what it looks like. When you run it through again, it'll cut it, and then you can just take it off, and you got that little piece that comes off, and then you get your bigger piece. And my dashes cut out a little bit there, but if you've got time to line it up perfectly, then by all means line it up perfectly if you can. But this is just a way to cut it down smaller and utilize the dies to do that if you don't have it. So I'm going to stamp on it in Bermuda Bay. And then I just pop that up with a couple dimensionals. And I put it down here toward the bottom. I think I want it to stick out a little bit over to the right and a little bit on the bottom. And then I have some of the gems that are in the kit. Little iridescent pebbles. And I'm just going to stick a few of them on somewhere around on the card. Like that. And then I have a piece for the inside, and then I didn't put anything on the inside. I'm just going to glue this down, but the kit does have some butterflies, and didn't bring it over with me to notice. I know that there's a butterfly that's got his wings open. There's a butterfly that's flying. Let me see, it should be on here. A caterpillar. And then there's some little like flowers that you could use for edging. So that would be kind of cute too if you put the little flower edging around like the base. You could put it down along the bottom or kind of along the side. That would be cute. And then it would just jazz up the inside a smidge. So there we go. There's our first card.